Gonna be some sad boy shit.
Yeah, very sad boy.
Cheers, guys. Just some sad boy shit.
Mm-hmm.
All hell, rap motherfuckers get back, snore rails. Kick back with a six-pack, yeah, we gon' do what he want, leaving others impaled. A podcast levels far beyond that. This ain't no bullshit, it's marsh pits and all that. Real talk with a steel got tasted. Rat still spill jizz on your faces. Gone ape shit, blaze it and take it in. Ratt talks with crack rocks and gin. Metalheads unite with a grin. Goddamn master man, that's real shit now. So open up your mind to smoke a bowl. A bunch of potheads getting stoned, you know how it go. It's the new show on the block. 100% uncut rock top.
Another episode of Ratt Talk begins now, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Matt the Rat Redarty, and this week my co-host, that's right, that's plural, Vincent Simpson and Amanda Cano are in here with me.
Hey,
guys.
thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us back.
And on this week of Ratt Talk, you know, I've always said that we're going to get into some deep shit. Well, this episode is some deep shit. And we really what the whole message is to create awareness and everything. Sure, all of you noticed that I didn't post an episode last week because Senor Simpson over here has suffered a terrible loss, big tragedy that has affected a lot of people. So
Yeah.
we skipped last week, you know, out of respect for him. And
Thank you for that. Appreciate that.
yeah, dude, of course. I mean, it was your week, you know. You couldn't make it, so it's not Ratt Talk without you now, man.
Yep. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I need some more
Yeah, of
time.
course. But so what happened was your very good friend took her life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she took her own life. So that's I feel like that really needs to be be out there because Amanda has also suffered a terrible tragedy like that
Hmm.
a while back. Your cousin.
Yeah, when we were in high school. Yeah, so we were both
Mhm.
about 15. So
Yeah, so it's fresh for you over here, and then you know we have Amanda, who's has been surviving, I guess.
Yes, I
A
mean-
few years.
yeah, who's
It's
had
a
a
few
couple
years.
years to have to live with it, and
it doesn't get easier, but you
People
you just
say
carry on.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the hardest part.
you
is
know,
that
and
life
I
goes
feel
on.
like a lot of people out there, you know, they have the wrong idea about suicide. You know, like according to the Catholic, the Christian religion, you know, you commit suicide, you go straight to hell and everything, and it's like it's a big major sin. So anybody that does it is like labeled a coward or, you know, is ridiculed in some way, and you know, that's fucking heavy. You know, I can't even imagine, you know, having somebody close to me, you know, being ridiculed like that. And they're not even there to defend themselves, you know, like, so you guys, you have to kind of be that voice to say like, no, like it's affecting everybody. Like something was wrong.
Yeah.
It's, you know, that you can't think of it that way. I mean, basically, because they were suffering here on, you know, in their life already. And now you don't want them to you don't want to picture them suffering, you know, beyond the grave. You want to picture them happy and, you know, and resting and everything.
In a better place.
And a lot of people just don't understand that. Like they don't get like the fact that it's somebody close, you know, like, you know, everybody is connected to everybody somehow. You know, we're all family. I mean, and when you do everybody has a family, and when it happens to you, it's kind of,
It's surreal.
you know, it's a little bit of a heavier, you know.
It's a game changer, that's for sure. For sure.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I can only imagine when you know the effect that it has on the heart.
It ages you in a way, that kind of burden, going through that. It's something that we as people shouldn't have to go through. Of course, I wouldn't wish that upon anybody, and I feel like that deep loss kind of, it ages you. It ages your soul. It ages your heart, and you just kind of have to. It weakens you for a little while, and you just kind of have to learn to regain that strength and carry on, and know that the loved one that you lost wouldn't want you to be sad. you just kind of have to pick yourself up and keep moving.
I mean, and that's also, you really do have to, like you said, think of it that way. Like they wouldn't want you to live in sorrow. You know, they wouldn't want you to be so hurt by it. Like they wouldn't. They want you to be happy. They would want you to be happy. You know, it's
the unfortunate thing about suicide though is that it doesn't really end the sadness. It just passes it along to somebody else.
Yeah, I mean,
which is
that is probably the hardest part.
Yeah.
I mean, and unfortunately, we don't have anybody here to give us a perspective, you know, of somebody that would go through that. I mean, I personally have never thought of suicide. I've gone to therapy and like been through, you know, like to see a psychiatrist and everything, and they've always asked me like, am I suicidal, you know, and like they were serious about it, so I kind of seriously thought about it, and I was like, no, I don't think I am. Like,
well, we all go through
I'm happy. Like even when I'm sad, I'm still happy. Like I still want to be alive and, you know, feel.
Right. There's a difference between being sad and maybe being a little bit depressed and actually having depression.
Yeah.
That's the
exactly
key difference. Like you think maybe
the depression is a mental illness that just eats away at somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's funny that you mentioned that. I was I did a little research.
Oh, right.
Oh, really?
I just went through this one article that kind of separated myth from facts about suicide and everything. Mm-hmm. And so I just picked up the interesting ones that I thought were worth mentioning. But depression is always the cause of suicide. That one's labeled a myth. You know, it's not always depression. I mean, it can happen to anybody. You know, if someone just has one bad day, like the Joker says. But it could really, that thought is really spontaneous. You know, a lot of let's see right here, alcoholism plays in a role. Mm-hmm. You know, like you're drunk and life seems kind of, and you don't know what you're doing.
Right. Yeah.
Stumble off a cliff, or accidentally pull the trigger somehow.
I mean, I don't know about that.
I guess if you're really fucking drunk, dude.
No, but you wouldn't put yourself in a situation like that unless you're already thinking about it. Like,
I think what the article is trying to say is clinical depression isn't always the reason. Someone could suffer from alcoholism, or they could have terminal cancer, and they're just like, I don't want to go out like that. Like I know Robin Williams, yes, he was depressed. I do believe he actually had depression, but if I remember correctly, he was just diagnosed and he was in the early stages of Parkinson's disease.
Oh, wow.
So I think that he would just some people would rather go out on their own terms rather than becoming weak by a disease.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wonder how that person's families are feeling when he makes that decision, you know? Does he go over those decisions with those people?
I mean, no. Usually people who are...
I know. It's hard to talk from the perspective of someone that's really... Because you don't...
Exactly. Because
that for us, that's what we think, you know? Like, we don't know how everybody else thinks, though. I can't... Like, we think alike, but I still don't know exactly what exactly is going through your head, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And so, I mean, we can put up these acts, I guess you can say. We can't interview
someone who killed themselves and say, what made you do this? That is what leaves us wondering. That's why I think my cousin, what really drove you to do this? Don't you know how loved you were? And that's what really kills me, because it's like, if you love these people. You think you would have been there for them in a heartbeat. You would have done anything to prevent that from happening. And you almost go through that. At least I did. I went through a little while of almost blaming myself a little bit.
Oh, yeah,
like,
totally.
Like, I didn't think it was like my fault because she did it, but I thought, man, like, she had at least told me that she felt like she could confide in me. And that was a big deal because she wasn't a very open person. And I thought, why didn't she reach out to me? Why didn't she talk to me? The last time I had seen her, everything was fine. We had talked about like going out or having a sleepover at my house like we always did when we were kids. And then it was like a week later and she was gone. And I was just so like blindsided. So you really just you kind of go through that, like, what could I have done? And you, over time, you just realize that there's nothing that you could have done to stop that, to prevent it.
I mean, the bottom line, to me, I always feel like, it's always personal. Like, you can talk to somebody, out of committing suicide, but you can't really take the burden, the thoughts and like the feeling, the dread. Like I just the only way I can picture it is just being in pain. It hurts. It feels like a heavy cross that you're carrying, so to speak, for the religious people.
It's true.
The thing about it with Harmony was she tried to reach out to the hotline, and I know she wanted help, but I just wish she would have came to us, like me or her family, because we would have done anything for her.
She's probably ashamed.
Yeah, she was ashamed because I didn't know about it, but before this, she was depressed and she had to be institutionalized.
Well, so let's get into who they were then. Yeah, the sauce. So go ahead. You already mentioned her name was Harmony. Go ahead and
Miss Harmony.
How did you meet, and like how did you?
Oh, you know how I met her, Matt. The very first episode of Ratt Talk, ladies and gentlemen, May 18th. That is when I met her.
Dude, it's so fucking trippy that we can put a date to it. Like,
that is insane.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I was coming to do the show with Matt on that day, May 18th, and I wanted to get some water bottles for everybody because we were all thirsty, as men are. Grab.
You don't have to polish it. Come on, we were getting beer. That's what you meant by water.
I actually bought water. I recall very well.
You actually bought water.
Yes. And I walk up to the counter to pay for my waters, and I see this gorgeous girl right there. Just stunning. And I talk to her for a little bit, just ask her how she's doing. And she's a real sweet girl. And she's got a beautiful smile. So I pay for my drinks, and I walk outside, only to walk back in moments later and ask her for her number. And after the show that we did that night, I talked to her for the rest of the night. And from the days on, we just became closer and closer. We ended up having a relationship, and she was my girlfriend. We ended up having a relationship, and she was my girlfriend. But yeah, that was the first time I met her. The first time we did Ratt Talk.
Yeah, it was Ratt Talk. I remember you coming over, and like everyone was like, "Dude, Vince just scored this chick's number, dude. Like, look at this slide motherfucker."
Oh yeah,
and even I was like, "Dude, look at like this motherfucker."
Yeah, I never ask girls for their number like that. That's
like,
not my
dude,
style.
you just Mr. Smooth over here just got to go first try.
First try Fridays.
But yeah, I remember that you coming back and being so stoked, stoked to hang out. Well, to have met her, I guess. Like,
yeah, to meet somebody new, start a new relationship with somebody. Yeah. It's always interesting.
I wish I could have met her.
Yeah, we did take a break during our relationship for a while. She said she wanted to focus on school, but I think she was going through her depression, and she didn't want to tell me about it.
Kind of isolating herself.
Okay, so that was May 18th, and you guys have been dating.
I think it's about 8 months.
Yeah, so about 8 months.
Yeah. And her family was really cool, and they're all really cool with me still. I mean, I'm very close to her family now. It's like forever.
Yeah. You spoke at her funeral.
Yeah, I did. I wrote a eulogy for her funeral. That was probably one of the hardest things I had to write. And I graduated high school.
You don't have to write a speech for high school, though. I mean,
no, not really. But it was nice. I mean, I said what I had to say.
Yeah, I can only imagine the pressure too.
It was very tough to speak in front of her family, but they're all very supportive people, and they appreciated it. They received it very well.
And if you don't mind telling, like, how is her family? Like, they are nice people, like
they're
you just said.
Nice people,
I mean,
very cool people, laid back,
you
hard-working people.
You wouldn't imagine they would pressure her or anything, or like make her feel like.
No, they would never have pressured her. The only thing was, I believe Harmony strived to be the best that she could be, and she was going to UCLA, And we got a letter in the mail a couple weeks after her day that she passed away. The letter had said that she had been failing for a couple semesters and she had been dropped out of UCLA. So I think that her failing to achieve that greatness at UCLA, that education that she desired, I think that just ate her up, and I think she was just so ashamed, didn't want to tell her mom or didn't want to tell her father. And the thing was, she never like showed signs of depression before. She was the happiest girl, and we were always laughing, just having a great time. And it's just like poof.
Yeah.
Like literally the last time I saw her was one of the last episodes I was on Ratt Talk.
Yeah, the last episode that you were on.
And you know what's funny? The first episode that we did, we talked about who would you have read at your funeral, and everybody voted for me. That's crazy.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, shit.
So I better not have to read for one of your funerals soon, dude. I can't do it.
Oh
right
my god. Now, fuck. I mean,
life's
dude,
crazy, man.
that's fucking crazy.
Yeah. I just thought about
that.
I just thought about that.
I haven't even listened to that episode. It's so long. I forgot about that too. I totally forgot that we talked about that. Oh shit. Well, actually, you looks like you did bring some of the eulogy in. Do you want to read a part of it? I mean, just so anybody,
you don't got to read the whole thing, but
Yeah.
maybe just something that stood out to you or something that's really meaningful that you'd like to share.
Let's see. Give me a second here.
Well, go ahead and go through it, Amanda. Go ahead and tell us about
All of
your person.
my cousin, her name is Angela, and we were very close. Our birthdays were only about 2 weeks apart. And she was always, she was a tough one. She was feisty, and she always talked shit. Like I can't.
She had
like,
fire.
Yeah, she had fire, and we'd always like, especially since we were the same age, and we had two other cousins who are our age, and it was always the four of us. And she was definitely the tomboy of the group, but man, she had the most gorgeous long hair, and she was tall and thin and had abs, and I'm like, God damn it, like I was so jealous. I mean, she was absolutely
She
beautiful.
was the hot cousin compared to you now at that time. all of your little elementary school kids would see her and be like, dude, your cousin's fucking awesome.
Probably.
Let's go. Can we go swimming at your house?
I mean, sure. What else? She played basketball. She was an awesome basketball player. She, you know what? It's kind of hitting me now. It's been so long. It's like, it's weird to talk about her, almost because I only have a limited amount of time. I had a limited amount of time with her. Oh, I don't know who she is,
exactly.
who she would have been now at 23.
Same thing with me, because I've only known her for 8 months. We were still learning, we were still getting to know each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was still finding things out about her, and so it's crazy because like I feel like she just robbed me of our future. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you feel a little cheated. Almost.
I do. I feel a little cheated, to be honest. I mean, as much as I want to hear, I know she's in a better place though.
Yeah, that's how I really had to look at it. I remember after she had killed herself, I just felt so sad. That was just the only way I could really. It was just
sad boys.
She's heartbroken. I mean, seriously.
I mean, but it's true. Just this overwhelming amount of sadness, and I just wish I would have known that she was suffering, because I had no idea.
Who done anything?
I mean, also, like growing up with someone so close, like and being so young, like when you're kids, like you're always happy with each other.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like
you don't imagine that your cousin, this little kid you're playing with in the front yard, would ever grow up to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I later found out, after she had passed away, I had found out that she had attempted to kill herself prior to that. And
sorry if I interrupt you,
No,
but
no,
I was
okay.
wondering, how do you feel about not knowing that before? If you would have known that
If you would have known that, yeah.
Dude.
Right?
I feel like if I would have known that before, some of the conversations that we had
would have been a lot deeper.
Not only deeper, but like warning signs. Like I would have picked. I wouldn't have treated her any differently, of course. But if like some certain things that she said, conversations that were a little bit more on like the morbid end, I would have probably like, oh, that's a red flag, and not like dismiss it, just thinking, oh, we're just talking shit 3 a.m. I wish I would have been able to be closer with her. Unfortunately, her parents were they were splitting up. My uncle. Yeah, well, they were splitting up, and we kind of had lost touch a little bit. Like we'd still see each other at like family functions, but it was hard because, you know, divorce kind of fractures families, and my parents are divorced too. So it's just, you know, everybody's kind of like divided amongst like their families. So it's a little bit hard to kind of get all the cousins together.
Gotcha.
But
she was 15, you said?
Yeah, we were 15. It was our sophomore year of high school. I remember she did it in November of sophomore year, so she would have been 16. Yeah, she would have turned 16 in January of the next year, and I was turning 16 in February. Yeah, so we're only like 2 months, 2 weeks apart.
Yeah, so you guys were really close.
We were very, very close in age, and I distinctly remember. One night we were talking, I had stayed the night at her house, and I remember her telling me, Amanda, if we went to the same high school, I would have been such a bitch to you. And I'm like, my gosh. I'm like, why? Like, it kind of like out of nowhere, like, because you're kind and you're dorky and you're not afraid to be yourself. And I'm like, well, why is that an issue? And she told me how she felt like where she went to high school, she had to kind of be tough. Like it wasn't cool to be dorky or silly or be yourself or be a drama nerd. Like you had to be cool. You had to be tough and kind of have this harsh exterior.
She probably put that on herself.
Mm-hmm. I think so. But I do remember her after that saying that she liked how dorky I was because she felt like she could talk to me. Like she felt like I wasn't.
She could open up to you.
Yeah, she told me that she felt like she could open up to me, and that was kind of, I was honored, and that kind of took me by surprise a little bit because she was always kind of tough. Like nah, like I'm not gonna cry. And she rarely cried in front of everybody, in front of anybody. The night our grandfather passed away was really the first time I saw her cry. She was kind of, we had all like come to terms, like we were like kind of dealing with it in that moment. Mm-hmm. And as soon as we were alone, she gave me a hug and she just kind of broke down. And that was really the first time that I had ever like see her cry. Mm-hmm. And I wish that I could have been around more because I would in a second be there for her whenever, if she felt sad or alone or whatever she was going through, I would have been there to listen.
Yeah. And you know, like everybody they love their families, you know, like they have that cousin, they have that, you know, that girlfriend, they have, you know, that person that they would just do anything for.
Yeah.
And it sucks, man. I mean,
it does,
you know, knowing that, I mean,
like, it's weird for me. How am I going to date another girl? And like, dude, how am I going to
not think about it, right?
Yeah. Like, hey, are you all there in the head? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like,
have you seen a psychiatrist in the last 6 months?
It kind of just comes down to being there for people, being there.
Yeah, amen to that.
Being there for your loved ones.
Preach it, sister.
I've learned, like, I can't blame myself, even though she did feel that she could confide in me and talk to me, I can't blame myself because we became a bit distant, because those are just circumstances.
Yeah, that's just life. Life happens. I mean,
people drift.
It's
apart.
it's really unpredictable, man. I mean, you can't control it, but
I just think that no matter what you're going through, how sad you get, like, there is still someone out there that loves you. I think that's when it comes down to someone who is suicidal and has that, they reach that point where they feel like they aren't loved, or their life isn't, their life doesn't matter.
Right. They feel like
they don't
if they
have
go,
anybody.
nobody's going to notice that they're gone, and
But
it's not true.
No, that is
Yeah.
absolutely
And
not true.
That's the biggest myth that they think.
That is
That's-
your own mind putting you in the corner
Yeah.
and shutting everything out. Like, that is the biggest lie that that anyone could ever tell themselves, that they aren't
Exactly.
loved by at least someone
Yeah, there was
in this world.
There's a kid who came out from Washington who was on an app that Harmony played. It was like I don't know, it was a little game. I forgot what it was, but this kid came down and he was just broken up. Came all the way down from Washington. Never really met her in person. Just an online buddy that they used to play video games with. And
crazy.
she affected so many people, and she didn't even know them. You know what I mean? She never met them face to face, and it's a shame.
yeah.
But
Well, do you have something?
yeah, I
you
wanted to
wanna
read something.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
wanna hear that.
Just a little ender.
From the eulogy.
The googly.
Google.
Googly.
All right, this is the end, guys. I'd like to always remember her as being happy and smiling. I know she found peace Sorry. I know she found peace and is in a good place right now. I know she will watch over us all and continue to love us. You may be gone, but you will never be forgotten. I love you, Harmony. And that was the end. But
Yeah.
dude, that was so hard to read in front of all those people.
Yeah.
I even had trouble reading it right now.
Yeah, dude. I mean, beautiful, man. It's beautiful.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
I was writing this like tears and all.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
that's-
Up till
yeah.
2 a.m. the day of.
It's
And I
very
had
brave
a-
of you.
I actually took Tyler to come with me because
Yeah, I mean,
I couldn't have done that by myself.
No way,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah, I wouldn't have asked.
Yeah, I needed
I wouldn't have
somebody
done
there,
it,
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, any one of us would have been there for you, but I know
Yeah.
you can't quite show up with a big entourage.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's-
exactly.
I understand that, but you know we're all here for
Thank
each
you,
other.
guys. Yes, we are.
Yeah, and exactly, man. So actually, we do have a song that we dedicated to Harmony.
Yes, her
Mhm.
favorite band, Paramore.
Yeah, Paramore. So
Rest in peace, baby girl.
yeah, middle of the episode, we always take a break. So actually, Vince was unable to pick a song because it would have been too hard, right?
He
I
told me
guess,
that
yeah.
her favorite band was
Yeah.
Paramore, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like
So-
Paramore,
That's how we did it.
so I
And
picked that song.
and you actually picked this song for a very specific reason too.
which
You picked the song, yes, the Paramore song we are
Yes.
currently talking about. You
Yeah.
picked it for a specific reason because Haley Williams
oh
wrote it. Yeah, there
I'm
you
like,
go.
wait,
There we
I picked
go.
it for Harmony.
Oh, my
Haley Williams, the singer of Paramore, wrote this song to all her friends that she lost to suicide.
Oh wow.
So yeah, she was very heartbroken when she wrote this, and when I listen to the words of this, I can tell that I could just feel the pain in her voice, and it's something that I can
It's a sad boy moment, sad girl moment.
sad girl moment for sure.
It's all right.
Okay, well,
Let's hear it.
so we're gonna take a break. This is Paramore's "When It Rains." Yeah, that was heavy. It might not have been heavy for you guys, but that was
heavy
fucking,
for me,
that
dude.
was heavy in here, man.
We had a moment.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
dude. It's
I've
fucking-
never heard that song before.
Really?
A very good song.
Dude, wow. Well, we're
Very-
glad that we can bring
very
that to you.
sad
We
song.
did, yeah. Well, Amanda picked it out, but us from Ratt Talk, all of us here.
Grazie.
Yes, we dedicate that to Harmony.
Mm-hmm.
Rest in peace.
Grazie.
Yes. Oh man,
Sorry about that, guys.
No, I
No,
mean,
it's okay.
I wasn't prepared for that. I probably should have prepared for that.
It's crazy because people ask me, like today I went to a grief class with her
Mhm.
family at the church,
Yeah.
and they were asking me, oh, sorry. And they were asking me, how do you function at work? And you know what? I'm not really functioning. I'm just like, when I'm at work, I have to be professional.
You have to be, yeah.
I can't sell somebody a shotgun with tears in my eyes. You know what I mean? They're going
Mhm.
to think I'm a crazy person. You know what I mean? Like,
But I mean, then you have those moments.
Yeah,
you have
then you
those
just- I
times
have
where
those
you
moments.
find yourself by yourself, and you're just like, oh shit, like.
It's like, how
Yep.
dare life
The-
go
yeah.
on while I'm going through this personal tragedy?
yeah, like
Yeah.
I know life goes on, and that's the hardest part. 'cause
That's
I just
the-
It
want to
almost
take a
feels
break. I need, like, I
disrespectful.
just want to take a break right now. I wish everything would just
Yeah.
pause real quick.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
remember
just take a
feeling that
moment.
way.
Yeah, just take a moment, go take a walk, and just
Yeah, I was in the time right after Angela took her life. I remember like thinking like, how dare life go on when I'm going through this, and it wasn't easy, and it almost felt like insulting. And it's just like, God, I'm going through this, but that's the reality of it. I'm thankful though that maybe a couple weeks after, and it was still pretty fresh. I had a confirmation retreat. Yes, I am a confirmed Catholic. I know, kind of hard to believe. I'm a confirmed Catholic.
Oh wait, okay. Say what you will about the fucking Catholics, dude.
What?
Those confirmations, man, those things will fuck with you, dude.
I've never
Absolutely.
seen one. I don't know.
Oh, you've never
will,
been?
They will
No.
break you, man. They will fucking break you.
What do they
Like,
do?
That's seriously good. Jesus's last stand, like. Like you are gonna accept me, or
Oh,
you're gonna be
shit.
sad for the rest of your life.
I mean,
No,
I
I've
wouldn't
never
describe it
been
as
there.
that.
Well, okay, coming from someone who would, like, it felt really betrayed. I guess
yeah. Well, I
mean,
felt betrayed too. I went to my
Yeah.
confirmation retreat right after my cousin passed away, and her dad, my Nino, I read a letter. He wrote me a letter.
Yeah,
And that was so freaking heavy to read. And he was
Dude.
just telling me how he would look at my life's accomplishments and my milestones as if he would have looked at hers. And that fucking got me, man.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
know,
dude.
stuff like that'll hit hard.
I told you, man. Those fucking Catholics.
Catholics, dude.
That's where they get that shit, dude.
Dude,
They-
I had
they-
the realest moment with a priest though on my confirmation retreat because we were in, it was confession, but we were more just sitting talking. Yeah, we were talking. It was nice, beautiful. It was all snowy. We were out in the snow, and we were sitting there talking. And I really kind of for the first time talked about my cousin and how I had felt so sad, and what I don't know what it was that he said to me, but after talking to him, I just all of a sudden felt like, this isn't my fault. She is okay. Like there's
You
nothing.
can't blame yourself. There's
Yeah.
nothing that we could have done. But you know what kills me is that she reached out to that hotline during the day, and I was the last person she texted that night. And I was talking to her, asking her how she was. It's crazy. And, what was it? Wednesday.
feeling helpless. Like,
Wednesday, I was at her house. Thursday, I was texting her that night, and then Friday morning,
no more.
yeah. And Wednesday, she was fine. Can't explain it. But some things you
I mean,
can't
it's
explain.
yeah. It's so
It's
again,
oftentimes
it's
that
spontaneous. Like,
people who do decide to take their lives, usually you don't see it coming because they don't want you to see it coming.
And I think that's exactly what she didn't want anybody to see it coming. She didn't want anybody to know.
Yeah, because she didn't want anybody to save her, and that's sad because you really that's the reason why you can't save a person who's feeling that way.
My heart
But-
goes out to the mothers.
Yeah, how is Harmony's mom?
Harmony's mom is having a very tough time.
I can imagine. Well, I can't imagine,
I
but
mean-
I can.
I cannot imagine either, but I am there for her, and she knows I'm there for her and her family.
Mm-hmm.
She's
I
having
mean,
a
just
very tough time.
bottom line, nobody wants to bury a child.
No,
No.
that I can't
And
imagine a
she
greater
grew up
burden.
with her daughter. You know what I mean? Harmony is the oldest.
Yeah.
So
That was
I
her
don't
closest friend, pretty much.
it was her
Yeah.
closest friend. She tells me all the time.
Yeah.
And then she tells me some scary stuff, man, because she's very upset, and I just couldn't imagine what it's like to be in her shoes right now. But, you know, we pray for her all the time, and she's a strong woman. I mean, I say it now, but I believe she can get through this. But,
Of course. I mean,
it's on her, and she's got to keep her
Yeah.
faith.
kind of
keep her faith,
cheesy
keep
Catholic sort of thing, but I was always told that God wouldn't place any burden on us that he thought we couldn't handle.
Exactly.
So that's kind of how I that's going through that. That's kind of what I realized. Okay, like this is really testing me because I'm thinking, God, why the fuck would you do this to me?
Mm-hmm.
But it's just kind of a part of his plan, essentially.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes people, unfortunately, they'll take their life, but it's almost like, all right, I'm gonna get super cheesy Catholic right now, but there's people there are people who are put in your lives, and they might be taken out sooner for a reason. And I remember at a funeral, I heard this one little passage: "God broke our hearts to prove to us He only takes the best," and that's kind of how I see it.
That's nice.
Maybe she was like an angel put here on this earth for long enough to maybe teach us all something.
Oh, yeah.
For whatever it is. And
Too much of an angel for earth. That's what Christina likes to say.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, I like to remember her as being happy too.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about her being sad.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta think.
We gotta celebrate her life.
She's in a better place. Yeah, you know.
You know, and so
not.
this is kind of you're pretty much going through the grieving process right now, Vince. Like,
yeah,
it's still it's still taking its
still pretty
toll.
fresh.
It's still very fresh, and it's not I mean, I'm. It's not gonna get easier, but it's not gonna get any harder. I get
No, I mean, I went through the first time with my father when I was a little kid. So I mean, I went through that grieving period when I was like a teenager, when I found out what really happened, and I went through that. And then with this, I would have never thought twice in a lifetime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is like really hard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to explain it, but I know how my mom feels because she went through that, and so it's like we can relate on a different level now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's indescribable.
You know,
really.
and you've even mentioned like it's aged you. This experience has
I feel like
aged you
old,
mentally.
It's funny actually you say that because when we were at the services and I went to read my eulogy, somebody thought I was 30 years old. I was like, oh my gosh.
No. I mean,
you were just that stressed out.
I guess.
Yeah.
Like a 30-year-old. Oh my god.
Geez.
That is tough, dude. That is
That's pretty funny, huh?
Fucking metal, dude.
I guess.
You just grow old for like a day.
I
Oh
mean,
man.
it will. Going through a tragedy like that,
Yeah.
especially like for the parents, if they lose their child, that amount of stress and heartbreak will age you. There are old people, when they lose their significant other or whoever, they'll essentially die of a broken heart because their heart just can't be aged anymore. It can't bear that stress. I mean, that's what happened with Carrie Fisher's mother. And
Died of a broken heart.
yeah.
There's still a sip of water in there, dude.
I'm very thirsty.
All
right, let's
okay,
lighten this up. Let's lighten
Try
this
to
load.
lighten this up.
Well, let's raise awareness.
Raise awareness.
Yeah, you know, just let people know. You gotta, if you see somebody struggling with something, you know, reach out.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean,
Reach out, man.
And it's not
I feel
just
like we all need to do that. We all
Yeah,
just need to
everybody,
get
just
put
people being
input.
people.
Yeah, people that you care about, like genuinely care about. Like ask them,
Like, hey,
how is
man.
their day doing? Like
Yes.
how's your day? Like, you hit us up all the time, dude. And I try to return the favor as much as I can. Just like
it's appreciated. Sometimes getting a text
Yeah.
from a friend out of nowhere, like, oh, someone cares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it feels nice. So it's always good to reach out to those.
I mean, we always
but-
fucking hang out too.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, we're here now.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like we always hang out, but we still like in between those days we're not hanging out. We're just like, hey, dude, like how's your day going? Like, oh, fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, all right, what are you doing tomorrow? Like, we'll kick it tomorrow and shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
you know, how you said how we need to reach out to those who we know.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that we need to reach out to those who we don't know, not on like a super personal level.
Just anybody?
Well, there are people who aren't as privileged or as fortunate as we are. And at this point in time, especially in this country, people have grown more comfortable spewing hatred and bigoted remarks. And
yeah, I can see it's becoming a lot more popular now.
Yeah, so that's why I think it's
just random conversations, man. Like maybe just walk by waiting
waiting
at
waiting on a
bus stop and just like, hey, dude, how's your day going? You know, like,
oh yeah, that's cool, definitely.
It's anybody,
just being polite too.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, being a nice person. Put good in, get good out. You know what I also believe is good to have? I believe everybody should have a friend that they can call at any time of the night. Like if they're going through something, just be able to talk to somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's good to have. If you have somebody that you can call at 2 a.m.
and they'll answer and be
and
like,
they'll
yeah, what's
answer, you got a good friend right there, for sure.
Yeah, dude, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, usually with us, it's always we call somebody at 2 a.m.
Yeah,
Hey, dude.
I need a ride, dude.
What are you doing, dude? You want to smoke a bowl right now?
Yeah, dude, the bar just closed.
The bar just closed. Oh man, no shit, dude.
but essentially, let's just all be fucking kind to each other. Let's
Yeah,
all
dude.
Hell
Smoke
yeah.
a bowl. You know, it's not.
Each their own, yeah.
Hey man, that's the best. That's the best way to make friends.
That's
the
true.
only way I know how to make friends.
Yep, saying hello.
Yeah, you want some weed? Sure. Oh, that's a cool Slayer T-shirt.
Yeah.
Not even. It's easy. It's actually easier to be a Slayer friend. You just gotta go Slayer.
Slayer. Slayer. Yep.
Oh man.
Take it easy, Ryan D.
No, not Ryan D. We're getting shirts made.
Not
We're
right.
getting
Oh yeah.
shirts
Okay.
made,
Let's take a break from this sad shit. We're getting shirts. What do you want?
Well, actually, hold on. Let's actually wrap up this sad shit. Okay,
Wrap
like
up the shit.
go. Yeah, let's be nice to everybody. Let's just fucking be open with each other. Like let people in. Like talk to somebody if you're going through some shit. Just be like, dude, you know what?
Please.
I'm having a really bad day and I need to vent. Like you need to have one of those people. One of those people.
And if you don't have one of those people,
Find
one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Try to find someone. You aren't alone in this. To anybody who's listening to this, who has that heavy heart, who thinks that their life doesn't matter, your life matters. No matter who you are, what color your skin is, how you identify sexually, your life.
Sexual
Doesn't matter.
orientation.
Yeah.
We don't care. We're all people.
We don't care if you suck dick, fuck pussy, or eat ass.
Yeah.
We
we're all the
love you.
same. Yes.
I don't know what to
That's
say.
it. Yeah.
I guess that's your
That's right.
slogan. Huh? That's the
So that
slogan.
we're gonna end. Yeah, we're gonna end on that one. So if you doesn't matter if you suck dick, fuck pussy, or eat ass. We love you.
We love
We
you.
love you. That's going on the t-shirts.
That
now.
is going on.
Oh, gosh.
Or a towel. We can
Oh,
wave it around at a
Don't
football
forget
game.
to bring a towel.
Yep. There you go.
Oh,
Ah,
Dude,
we're
thank you
geniuses
so
here.
much, Vince, for
Yeah,
sharing
and
the
thank
way you did.
Amanda too. Thank
Thanks
both
for
of you
having me,
guys.
dude.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
both of you
It
for
was tough.
for talking about this,
Yeah,
man.
I'll send special vibes out into the universe for
Mhm.
Miss Harmony.
Yes.
I'm sad I
And her
didn't get to meet
family.
her, but I can see I feel like I know her a little bit better through
Yeah.
your love for her. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Matt, for allowing me to talk about this and
Oh yes, of
bring some
course.
awareness to the people listening on the air.
Yes, we need awareness, and
Yeah, special shout out to
and,
my
yeah.
cousin Angela, who's up there. I
thank
love
you, Angela. and
Shout
thank
out
you,
to
Harmony,
Angela.
for having the effect on these two individuals, for making them, being an inspiration for them, and watching over them, and keeping them safe.
I love you.
Love you too, Harmony.
All right.
All right.
Well, we're not done yet, dude. We're now I guess we can just lighten up the mood. There's actually a whole bunch of shit going on. If you haven't noticed, if you've been following it's on social media, well, actually, I haven't really been posting about it because
Get
it
on
hasn't
the
been
shit.
official. But Humpfest, if everybody knows who Humpcast is that listens to this, obviously. Mm-hmm. But Humpfest is happening. Humpcast brings Humpfest to T-Boils in Pasadena, and Ratt Talk is actually going to be there. Introducing the guys. That's what we're going to be doing.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
We're gonna go wear shirts and rep the podcast and everything. We were given that opportunity to go up there and say some shit real quick. So catch us at Humpfest, and then if I can listen to Humpcast, dude, they're the Big Brother podcast. They're always here. Your weekly podcast on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
What else did we?
Oh, did you want to plug the suicide hotline before?
Ah, shit, yeah. That's right.
I know we forgot about that.
Yeah.
Damn it, I got all sad.
I know, we got to get sad again. All right, go ahead.
It's not really sad, but in case you feel like you need to reach out to someone, there's the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Phone number is 1-800-273-8255, and that's 1-800-273-8255.
1-800-273-8255.
In case you're sad.
In case you're sad.
Dude, are you kidding me? If suicide hotline commercials were that fucking upbeat,
right?
Dude, there would be no suicides. I would think. Like, are you kidding
me?
That's so
freaking morbid.
All right.
All right, now bring in the suicide. No, I'm just kidding. Bring in the suicide.
Damn, that's a heavy fucking. That sounds like a.
It's so bad, dude.
You're gonna play some Slayer now.
Jeez.
I know. Yeah, we're gonna fuck shit up. Yeah, actually.
We're gonna play some music.
Yeah, we can cut it right here. I mean, it's 50 minutes.
You got any more shit you need to plug?
That's what I'm actually trying to think about right now. If I need to
plugging stuff.
We're plugging butts and
Valentine's Day is coming up, gentlemen.
Plugging butts and fucking sluts.
Yeah,
dude, I'm on fire right now.
God damn.
There you go, man.
I know. I'm the
2 for 2.
mono guy.
Keep it going, man. Keep it going.
I'm a walking advertisement right now. Zing.
Jeez.
Well, we have another song to end the podcast as we always do, and Amanda also picked this song. Go ahead and why did you pick this one now?
I picked this song specifically because the lyrics really jump out to me. The chorus goes, when you wake up, everything is going to be fine. I guarantee you'll wake in a better place and in a better times. So you're tired of living, feel like you might give in. Well, don't. It's not your time. And that's what I wish I could have told Angela, that it's not your time. But now how I see it, she is in a better place and in a better time. So, yeah.
Well, this will forever be ringing in the cybernet. So what would you like to say to Harmony right now, Vince?
What would I like to say to Harmony right now? What do you mean? Like if we were face to face?
Yeah,
right now?
face to face right now. Her spirit is right in that microphone.
I would ask her why. That's exactly what I would do. I would just totally ask her why.
Oh man, that was kind of a bummer. What would you say, man?
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. I need to know, bro. It's like it's killing me, man.
Well,
knowing
that she can't respond.
Yeah.
Oh.
Knowing that she can't respond.
I mean,
she
like
can't. When I go to her grave and I go talk to
her?
Yes.
What?
Oh, I go to have everyday conversation with her. I'm like, I'm going to go get some fried chicken today. I'm going to go chill with Matt and the boys, you know, me. I just go talk to her just like she's still there, dude. I talk to her like she's a person, man. She's
beautiful.
Not gone.
Beautiful.
Yeah, dude. That's
Love
how I do
it. Okay,
it.
that's a lot better. Thank you. Man, what would you say?
Angela, I love you and I miss you. And I hate that you're not here and that we're not growing up together, getting into drunken 23-year-old girl shenanigans. But I appreciate you at least visiting my dreams every now and again. It makes me feel like you're still here and looking out for me. And I love you and keep watching out for me.
And this episode was dedicated to those who have passed. Harmony and Angela, rest in peace. And thank you, Ratt Talk listeners, and good night. Streetlight Manifesto, a better place, a better time.
So she wakes up in time to break down. She left a note up on the dresser and she's right on time. You don't know anything, right or wrong. I said I know, and she said so. I wanna panic, but I've had it, so I go. You don't know anything to anyone, but don't take your life, 'cause it's all that you've got. You'd be better off just up and leaving if you don't think they will stop. And when you wake up, everything's gonna be fine. I guarantee that you wake in a better place and in a better time. So you're tired of living, you feel like you might give in. Well, don't. It's not your time. The paper today, looking for a specific page. Don't wanna find her full name followed by dates, 'cause when I left her alone, she made it sound like a moan. You're known by everyone for everything you've done. I'm buying flowers for grapes, I'd rather buy you a one-way non-stop. Do anywhere, find anyone, do anything, forget it, start again, love. She says she won't go, it hurts too much to stand by. You've gotta stop and draw a line. Everyone here has to choose a side tonight. The moment of truth is haunting you. Don't forget your family, regardless what you choose to do. You can't decide, and they're all screaming, why won't you? I'll start the engine, but I can't take this ride for you. I'll draw your bath and I'll load your gun, but I hope so bad that you'll bathe and run. Tomorrow, and he says, that day I came across when I learned that life goes on without me. Without me, and I said, everyone has someone else. Well, I ain't got nobody, so I have to save me. Save me, and he said, I think I'll pass away everything's gonna be fine. I guarantee that you wake in a better place and in a better time. So you're tired of living, and you feel like you might give in. Well, don't. It's not your time, even if it was so, I wouldn't let you go. You can run, 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 but I will follow.